Good evening and welcome to another live video. It is an evening, which is unusual, but here we are for another episode of Dazed and Confused. You're trying 3 times a week, weekly live video, talking about social media and video, trying to help you get into content creation, all that kind of stuff. And yeah, bit of a haphazard start tonight. I'm a bit all over the place. Anyway, where are we? It is Wednesday, isn't it? Blimey, midweek. It's been a strange day for me. Lots of stuff going on. But we're here now. We're ready to do this Dazed and Confused, which is your chance to ask your questions about social media, about video, and also we're going to talk about a specific subject matter as well. The fact that it is Photography Day. It's also Potato Day. So we'll maybe talk about both of those things. And for those of you who don't know who I am, I'm Simon Scholes. I'm the founder and creative director of Perception Studios. I'm very tired, so I can't talk properly. Basically, Perception Studios is a visual marketing agency. We help brands, we help businesses create content that helps them stand out on social media, be that video, animation, aerial work, photography, graphical, all sorts of different types of stuff. However, a few years ago, it became obvious to me that not every brand, not every business was in a position where they could have content created consistently for their social media platforms. However, we need consistency on social media to really create a presence, build a brand, and so on and so forth. So I wanted to try and help people do that in the best possible way. Being a Yorkshireman, the best possible way is for free. So what I did was I sat down, I came up with a process. I called it How to 9 Times Your Social Media. And it basically takes you everything from planning all the way through to podcasting and all the other stuff that goes on in between as well. And if you want to know more about How to 9 Times Your Social Media, I have a book which went to #1 on Amazon quite a while ago, but you can still get hold of a copy of it right now. It's available in the section below. Just go and click on the link and download your copy of my free book on Amazon. But wait until we finish doing this live broadcast. Otherwise, you'll maybe miss something that's really important to you. Basically, I just want to help. I just want to get you on that content creation journey, get you started creating stuff, get you kind of getting your brand out there. We're in this really weird time still. Nobody really knows what the hell's going on. And kind of, well, if you've got a brand or a business, you know you need to be making sure people know who you are, what it is that you do, where it is that you're doing it, and who you're doing it for. And that's what social media is so great for. So I just want to get you on that content creation journey. So if you've got any questions at all about social media, about video, anything that's been burning in the back of your head, just let me know in the comments, whatever platform you're watching on, be it Twitter, Periscope, YouTube, Facebook, wherever you are. Just say hello and let me know what your questions are. Good evening to Miles, who's just joined us. Long time no see. How are you doing? I am very well indeed. Thank you very much. And the rest of the family is very good as well. So thank you for asking. So today, Photography Day. And it is also, like I say, Potato Day as well. So first things first, I will always say you're better off doing a lot of stuff yourself. Mainly because it's going to save you money in the long run. And a lot of brands, a lot of businesses don't necessarily need an agency swallowing up a lot of their marketing budget that they might not necessarily have, especially if you're a smaller brand, a smaller business, maybe a solopreneur, and you're just starting out. The last thing you need is somebody going, hand out, pay me a lot of cash, and I promise you I'll bring you customers, which is something you can't promise. But you can promise that you're talking to the right people and making sure that your marketing is talking to the right people and so on and so forth. So for me, I'm very much into you not spending cash, you learning how to do things yourself. However, there are times where it's really important to get a professional to do some of the stuff for you. And what I thought I would do is kind of show you what it is that we do at Perception Studios that kind of helps people and helps brands and helps businesses understand what they are capable of doing as a brand. So this is for you to have a look at. Come off, hasn't it? Let's try that again. There we go.
5 a.m. and we're on a mission from June.
So as you can see, a brand can do all sorts of stuff, basically. Doesn't really matter what it might be. They can do all sorts. And it's just important that you get what's right for your brand. But sometimes you have to look at putting some money behind your content, which is why I want to talk about this on Photography Day especially, because photographs are one of those things that it's important that you get your photographs right, your brand right, all that kind of stuff. And if you don't get the photographs right when it comes to things like profile photos or product photos, it can actually really start to cheapen your brand a little bit. So it's all well and good having this, which is a great, powerful tool, and it's got a great camera on it, and just getting the odd now and again putting a shot out there that's kind of interesting to see and potentially something that you would use on social media. What I will actually do right now is I will show you an image that I took on my phone, and I don't know if you can see that. It's a little bit bright because obviously we've got the light on and all that kind of stuff. Let's see if we can get that seen better. Nah, can't see it. But anyway, there's a bunch of photos I took on my phone, which I use on my social media platforms. I kind of use them to let people know who it is that I am and what it is that I do and all that kind of stuff, and I use it on social media. But there comes a point where using this is not enough for a brand or for a business, and you have to look at spending some money. And so for somebody who says spending money isn't important when you're trying to build your brand and your business organically on social media, there are times where you want your product to look the best it possibly can do. You want you to look the best you possibly can do. And getting that shot on here with your arm out, arm's length, or even sitting on a tripod might not necessarily be the way forward for that piece of content to look the best. So you have to consider the point of potentially spending some money. However, there is still that element of being able to use this, which is where Potato Day comes in, because there is a creator on YouTube, and his world famous line that a lot of people know about when they've heard about him is that as long as your story is good enough, as long as the value you are giving is good enough, you could shoot it on a potato. And that is another side to the story. So when you want your content to look great, you want your products to look good, maybe you want yourself to look good, then get that professional in to help you with that content creation. However, it doesn't need to be there all the time. You don't need to pay for a professional for every piece of content that you're going to put out. So that's when this comes in. I'm not saying shooting on an iPhone 11 makes it look like you've shot it on a potato, because it doesn't. It still looks pretty good. But you can tell sometimes it's not shot by a professional, but that doesn't matter. The whole point is that when you're doing organic stuff, it's fine to use a potato, your phone, whatever it might be, not the best piece of kit in the world to get those shots. But when you want a piece of content to look a little bit better, when you want it to look a little bit more pristine, don't shy away from spending a few quid and getting a professional to help you. Yes, it's going to cost you money, but is it going to cost you more in the long run by you doing it on your mobile phone? Or is it going to cost you a little bit less by getting a professional to take some photos or video of your product or you looking pristine, looking great, looking amazing, set design, all that kind of stuff? Yes, it's going to cost you money, but is it going to make you more money by the fact that you've spent that money making the product or yourself look good? So you've got to weigh up those pros and cons. Sometimes it's needed, sometimes it's not. But just have a think about it. Is it worth you spending that money on your content? Is it essential for you to spend that money on your content? And if you go to a good creator, anybody who's worth their salt, they will sit down and say, right, okay, what is it you want? Actually, you know what? You're better off not having me to do that, but I could help you with X, Y, and Z instead. Hopefully you would get a creator who will help you do that. As an agency, that's exactly what we do. If somebody comes to us and says, can you create some video? Can you do some photographs for products? We make sure that's actually what they need rather than what they've been told they should have. People get told you must have a video for your website. Actually, that's a load of bollocks. You might not actually need a video for your website because your website might already be performing for you. What you actually need is videos and content on your social media to draw people back to your website because your website's already doing a great job. But you wouldn't know that unless you get the right person to speak to in the first place. So hopefully that's kind of helped you a little bit. You understand that on photography day, sometimes it's worth spending a bit of money, but not always. Sometimes you can just pick up your potato, take a video, take a photograph, talk to the camera, and still create some really great engaging content for your audience to actually get value from and care about. Okay, we're going to go to your questions now. If you've got any questions about photography day, spending some money, potato day, whatever you want, just check them into the comments on whatever platform you're watching. Also, if you're struggling with anything on social media or on video in particular, drop it into the comments and I will do my best to answer as many of them as I possibly can. We've got a couple of questions that came in overnight, which are kind of video-esque based. So we'll go to the first one, which came through from Danny, who says, I've got 265 TikTok followers, which is great. I've done 240 videos. That's a lot. I make around 10 TikToks a day, probably slightly overkill, Danny. What are other things that I can do? I would probably chill it out a little bit. I would probably scale it back, maybe bring it back to maybe 3 pieces of content a day. There's a few things you can do. Number one, make sure you've got a niche. If you're struggling to get an audience, which is what it seems like you're asking, if you're struggling to get an audience, maybe your content's a little bit all over the place. If, for example, today I'm talking about social media and video, but on Friday I talk about plastic bottles. Then next Monday when I go live again, I talk about mugs. Then on Wednesday, I talk about mobile phones. Then on Friday, what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about microphones. And then it all becomes a bit haphazard. It's all over the place. It's what I call scattergun. You can't have scattergun marketing for a brand. You can't have scattergun marketing on anything. So whether you're a brand or just somebody who wants to become an influencer, you've got to have that niche. You can't just go all over the place and expect people to want to watch your content or listen to what it is that you've got to say. You get creators like PewDiePie who create lots of different content. He's done vlogging, he's done fun little challenges, he's done travel stuff. But when he started, he knew his place, and his place was gaming and having fun while playing games. He didn't stray away from that, and he built an audience by doing that. Gary Vaynerchuk, when he was working in wine, he didn't think, you know what, I'm a beer expert, I'm going to taste beers and do this, because he knew he wasn't a beer expert. So he didn't do the beer tasting, he did wine tasting, and that's what his content was about. Wine tasting and trying different wines and making it more appealing to the common day man who might not necessarily want to buy wine because they don't understand it. And so he tried to do that. But he didn't stray away from his lane for a while until he was in a position where he could do, just like PewDiePie. So you need to start thinking, Danny, what is my niche for TikTok? What are you going to create content on? You cannot be creating a comedy video one day and then the next video you put out, because you're putting out 10 videos a day, is a dance video. And then the next video you put out is a tip video. And the next video you put out is just you talking to the camera. You're just going to confuse your audience and they're not really going to connect with you as a creator. Find a niche, stick to it, scale back down to about 3 TikToks a day. I wouldn't go any more than that for the time being. Just try and get that niche out there, help people understand what it is that you do and who you are. Don't forget to use hashtags. Don't forget to put a description in there of what the content's about. Jump on trends, but try and put your own slant on it. Once you have your niche, duet with other people within your niche. all that kind of stuff is going to help your content become more visible, get seen by more people. So hopefully, Danny, that's going to help you out a little bit, and you're going to start seeing a little bit more of a progress on your content. But definitely, you're going to have to niche down. And I'm guessing if you've done 240 videos and you're doing around about at least 10 TikToks a day right now, you ain't got a niche. I'd be really surprised if you did. So you're going to have to find what is the content you enjoy creating the most and stick in that lane just for a little while, just so people can understand who you are and what it is that you do. Okay, next question. Sarah is asking, how do I make sure I don't run out of content? You make enough content, Sarah. It's as simple as that. If you want to know more, what I would suggest is you download my book. It's 99p. It's not like it's going to break the bank or anything like that. 99 pence. It will take you through the whole process, but you start with planning. And planning is how you're going to help yourself make sure you don't run out of content. If you've got a plan in place, you know what you're going to talk about as and when, just like any brand on the planet, bigger brands, smaller brands, they all should have a marketing plan in place so they know what they're going to be talking about, that marketing strategy, that brand content that you can create. Once you know what you're talking about, then you can start creating content around that particular plan, be it blogging, taking that blog, turning it into video, be it that video, turning it into a podcast, be that video, turning it into short form content, be that blog, turning it into memes, whatever it is that you're going to do, preferably you should do all of those things, then you won't run out of content. But you've got to have a plan in place in the first place so that you know what you're going to be talking about as and when. Because that's one of the biggest problems for most people is when you say, why aren't you creating anything? Their answer is, I don't know what to talk about. So if you've got a plan in place, you know what to talk about, then you can take it to the next step. Okay, blimey, we have flown through those tonight, and we've flown through the main content. If you've got any questions right now, we'll go till 20 minutes, and just stick them in the comments, whatever platform you're watching on. I will do my best to answer as many of them as I possibly can do before we come to a close tonight at 20 minutes. But until then, while you're watching on this platform, and if you're not already subscribed, hit the subscribe button. And that way you will never miss out on any of this content. You can even hit the share button right now if you're on the live or whether you're watching the replay as well. Hit the share button and we can keep building the community, keep getting more questions in, keep getting more answers out to people. You never know, your friend might ask that question that you will never ask, and then you get the answer that you so desperately wanted. And if you're watching on the replay now, you can still put your questions in the comments. We'll answer them on the next live. And if you're watching on listening on the podcast right now and that you've downloaded, my email address is in the section below. Just go and click on my email address and you can send me an email that way. And also, if you're watching on the video, my email address is scrolling across the bottom of the screen right now. There it is, simons@perceptionstudios.co.uk. Right, I'm going to foxtrot Oscar. It's 20 past 8 in the UK, and I want to go and enjoy the rest of my evening. So I will say goodbye for now. Thank you so much for watching, as always. It really does amaze me that people still tune into these, even though we're into like week 21 of doing them or something like that, whatever it is, week 21, 22 of lockdown, is it? I think that's about right. I did 10 weeks of doing them for 7 days a week, and then we're down to 3 times a week. But I'm so glad you still tune in, ask your questions, and hopefully get your answers. Anyway, until Friday, when it will be potentially another evening broadcast, just keep your eyes peeled onto my social media. Stay safe. It is weird times at the moment. We still don't really know what's going on, but hopefully you'll have a good rest of your Wednesday evening. Have a great Thursday, and I will catch you on Friday at some point or another for another episode of Dazed and Confused. Stay safe and take care. Bye.